On today's show, I debunk Ben Simmons talk. The Boston Celtics front office was not ranked number one in a new survey, and why we should just be appreciating the hell out of this Boston Celtics team right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis, recap the madness. Every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Drew to KP, tap in daily. Primetime Depp and D White on the sideline. Rain and Jace, how it started, raising business, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast. It's right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day, and I got you covered every day, Monday through Friday. Bonus podcasts when they play on the weekends. This week, it's a normal week. After 7 days of podcasting I recorded 7 podcasts. I released 6 because of the audio issues, but I'm still here for you every day. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube. I would love to have you watch the show on YouTube and get into the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking about all of these topics. Engage your fellow Celtics fans. Get into a conversation. Get into a debate if you disagree with something being said on this show. I'm John Karalis. I've been covering the Boston Celtics for about 20 years. I'm doing it now as a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal and as the author of Built Different, actually 2 books. I also did the Boston Celtics All-Time All-Stars. Built Different celebrates Banner 18. Buy it at johnkaralis.com. Still time to get it shipped to your door in the United States. Personalized, signed for $30. Shipped to you in the United States at johnkaralis.com. Today's show, later on, we're going to talk about, I'm going to get into a Reddit comment that I think everybody should listen to. The front office survey was done by The Athletic, and Boston Celtics they were not the number one front office, and a couple of different topics here to start the show, which is brought to you by Game Time. Today's show, brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for your first purchase of last-minute tickets or any tickets for whatever you want to go to in town. Let's start with these Ben Simmons odds. You might not have seen it, but there's a competing sports book put out odds that Ben Simmons, the Celtics are favorites to land Ben Simmons should he be traded and bought out. And I just want to start the show by calling complete BS on that, because the only way the Celtics can get Ben Simmons is if he is whatever happens this year, if he enters free agency and signs here at the veteran minimum, which at that point, I don't know, maybe is he going to sign for the veteran minimum? Is that what he's going to want to sign for? Will somebody give him more than that? A little bit more than that? Maybe. I don't know what the number is for him. I don't want Ben Simmons, but this notion that the Celtics can trade for Ben Simmons, first of all, complete crap. No chance. The Celtics are a second apron team, so they can do neither of these two things that are being proposed. They cannot trade for Ben Simmons because they cannot aggregate players. They cannot take 3 or 4 players and say, here you go, Brooklyn Nets, and take back Ben Simmons if they wanted to. They could not do that. They are not allowed to. It has to be a 1-for-1, or you can take back more players, but you cannot send out multiple players. So the only person they can trade is Jaylen Brown, and they're not doing that, right? That's obvious. So trading for Ben Simmons is impossible during this season. Signing him after a buyout, also impossible during this season. Because they're a second apron team, they're not allowed to sign anybody that's been bought out that's making more than the mid-level exception. So Ben Simmons making $40+ million, which, wow, he's making $40 million. If they buy him out and let him become a free agent, the Celtics are not allowed to sign him for no matter what. They cannot bring him on. So Ben Simmons There is no actual way other than trading Jaylen Brown. There's no actual way Ben Simmons can join the Boston Celtics this season. He would have to enter free agency next year, this upcoming summer, and sign with Boston if they even wanted him, and sign for the minimum. That's it. That's all they got. So I just want if any of you are driving to work and you get to work and somebody goes, "Oh, hey, I heard something about the Celtics and Ben Simmons." This is it. This is your chance to shine. Take this information, regurgitate it, claim it as your own. I'm just here to give you the information, and then you'll be the one that sounds smart at the water cooler. Do people have water coolers at the office anymore? So there's a lot of things. This new second apron thing has really confused a lot of people. And I'll be honest with you, like the nuance of it is still has eluded me. Like I'm not as well versed as I was in the last CBA. I still have to learn some of the little things that maybe can help you with some of the trickery. But there's a rumor that Jimmy Butler has the Phoenix Suns on his trade list. And same idea. The Phoenix Suns literally cannot trade for Jimmy Butler unless they trade Devin Booker or Kevin Durant, which they're not going to do. So these rumors are thrown out there. And this is just part of this is definitely old man yells at cloud. Oh wait, I have a graphic for this for the YouTube. Here we go. Old man yells at cloud. This is the people are just putting stuff out there. It doesn't matter if it's factual. It doesn't matter if it's possible. They're just saying, yeah, Jimmy Butler has the Phoenix Suns on his list. How about a little information there? They can't actually do it. There's no way for him to go to the Phoenix Suns unless Kevin Durant or Devin Booker are moved. It's like, come on. The Ben Simmons stuff, come on. Where is the critical thinking? Right? Didn't anybody hasn't nobody paid attention to the summer, like all of this second apron stuff? It's been around forever. I know most of you who are listening to this podcast, this is probably not even geared towards you, to be honest. It's probably for people who don't listen to podcasts and don't pay attention. You pay attention. You probably know all of this stuff. One last bit of news is Jayson Tatum was listed as questionable for the Wednesday Detroit Pistons game with the right knee tendinopathy, which is the tendinitis. Like they come up with all of these technical names. It's his knee might be a little bit sore, but I don't know how sore it is, because if you look at the Celtics socials, Tatum's out there running around through practice. They practiced on Wednesday and he's running and shooting and doing all that stuff. Maybe he came out of it and said, my knee's a little bit sore. Okay, that's fine. I think that's a perfect opportunity. If it's a little bit sore, rest it, get him off his feet. This is great because they don't play again till Sunday. And if you miss one game to have a full week off from NBA basketball, that's a rare opportunity. I say take it. I say you sit Al Horford as well. All of a sudden, Al Horford's sprained big toe should be like, that flared up. But whatever. Getting Tatum, if you can get Tatum to just sit one more game, you make the deal with him. Say, look, buddy, one more missed game, and you can play until the All-Star break. But this is a great opportunity to have him take a full week off, only missing one game, and that's it. What's the harm? And I know people who bought tickets and so on and so forth. Jaylen Brown will play. All these other guys will play. They should win. It'll be a fun game. And all of that. I get it. But the long-term goals are the long-term goals. It is what it is. I'm sorry. I am pro rest when necessary. And if there's any any hint of soreness in his knee, then rest him. Very simple. He'll play. He'll end up playing like 78 games this year, barring any sort of like sprained ankle or other injury. But that's perfectly fine. It's a long season. It's a tough season. He's had a long summer. Don't push it. Don't be stupid. We know what the goal is here. There's no reason to push him December 12th against the Pistons. Don't do it. The NBA front offices were ranked. The Athletic pulled 40 NBA executives, and the Boston Celtics were not number one. Why they weren't number one, and why I kind of get it. That's coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. You can use Game Time to get all of the tickets that you need, last-minute tickets, tickets to a sporting event, concert, comedy show, whatever it is. Use the Game Time Picks feature. It will filter out the fluff so you can get the incredible deals on great seats. It's curated. You don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. Toggle on the all-in pricing, and you'll see the price you're going to pay up front, so no surprise fees at checkout. And with the seat views, you'll get a panoramic view of the seat you're going to get right there on the app. I've used Game Time many times. My wife just used it to get Patriots tickets for Christmas gifts. So don't tell anybody the Patriots tickets are there. But we've used Game Time. You should too. The lowest price guarantee means you get 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKED, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out our daily newsletter. Find it at lockedondaily.com. You get Celtics, NBA, and fantasy coverage, plus links to some of the great Celtics content out there. It's all in one place in your inbox for free Monday through Friday at lockedondaily.com. The Athletic did a survey, 40 front office, 40 executives, top 5 points, all of that stuff, ranked everybody top 5. First place gets 10 points, second place gets 7 points, and they're ranked. So they did the whole thing, and the Oklahoma City Thunder were first with 354 points. The Celtics were second with 250 points. And on the surface, you say, what are you talking about? Brad Stevens just won a championship with this roster. What are you talking about? I kind of get it. So there's a couple of things here. First of all, Brad Stevens loses points for not being responsible for Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like, that's Danny Ainge's work. So there's a demerit, if you want to call it that, there. The other thing that hurts the Celtics in terms of ranking the work that the front office did is that the Boston Celtics ownership is a very willing spender right now. And the Celtics, you can argue, like, Brad Stevens has done amazing work. But you could also argue, like, yeah, and he gets to be a second apron team, and he gets to sign everybody. No one said don't sign Peyton Pritchard. No one said don't give Derek White an extension. No one said any of that stuff. Wick Grossbeck and the ownership group said, yeah, what do you want? Here's a check. Just fill in the number at the end, and that's what our payroll is. So it's not easy to put together a winner when you have the green light to spend. We've seen teams with green lights fail many, many times over the years. So that's not really that's not like a mark against Brad Stevens and the job that he's done. But I will say that Sam Presti has operated with some handcuffs with the OKC, because look, they're a small market team. They're the smallest market team. And he has had to pull some real rabbits out of hats and they have managed to put together a contending team that has been, look, they're gonna get expensive, but you found Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you got that haul in the Paul George trade. You hit with Chet Holmgren, you hit with all of these other picks. You're hitting with picks down the line. You make moves like Isaiah Hartenstein. You make moves like Caruso, that deal from Chicago. They have done a lot of work, and they have had to work within a budget. So it's like creating a meal, and Brad Stevens is an excellent chef, an incredible chef, but he's working with caviar and all of the, Wagyu beef. And Sam Presti is like getting, grade C chunks of, beef in quotes, and making an incredible meal. Like, he's doing all that. He's the contestant on Chopped, right? Sam Presti is the contestant on Chopped, and Brad Stevens is working in the kitchen of a 5-star Michelin star restaurant. So you still have to be amazing at your job, but I can see the Sam Presti why front office is skewed towards OKC. It's not. And look, the other thing is that OKC has a bigger window. Now, can they win a championship in that window? They can. Will they beat the Celtics if they meet this year? They have a chance. They do run a style that does give the Celtics problems, and they have the talent. The Celtics should still be favored if it was Celtics versus Thunder, but it would probably be a good series. Next year, the year after that, there are question marks for the Celtics. No doubt about it. There are question marks. Who's going to stick around? Do they keep everybody? Do they start pairing off? Is Drew Holiday going to be a victim of circumstance and financials next season? Are they going to try to say, all right, we're going to save some money with Holiday, we're going to elevate Peyton Pritchard? That seems like it's going to be a good idea, but 80-game starter Peyton Pritchard, that's going to be a new thing. That's going to be a question mark for the Celtics. What they do moving forward is going to be a question mark, whereas the Thunder have a little bit more certainty. As with anything, when it comes to this is the moment. This is in this moment. The two best front offices are Boston and OKC. Totally understand that. Miami is third. I get it. They keep finding these guys at the end of the second round and out of the draft, and they end up being contributors. That's a testament to the front office, but it's also a testament to Eric Spoelstra. But anyway, where these two front offices rank 5 years from now, that's going to be the full context. We're in this moment, and I think you can say the Celtics, maybe you can easily make the argument that the Celtics are number one because they won a championship, right? They won a championship. But giving Sam Presti full credit for that team versus giving Brad Stevens 80% credit for this team, I get it. And in 5 years, if OKC has won a couple and Boston has won a couple, then that changes, that solidifies this. But if Boston has won 2 or 3 and OKC has won none, then you say, well, maybe we flip these in time. Context is always going to change things. The years down the road, that gives us context. So right now in this moment, I get it. Maybe it should be a little bit closer, but I get it. I understand. But Brad Stevens, shrewd, like give me either GM. I would actually love to see what Sam Presti could do with unlimited funds. That would be really interesting. Maybe he wouldn't be as good. Maybe if he just had a ton of money, he would just make tons of mistakes. And what makes him so good is that he's working with a budget and he just knows how to save his money and budget his money well. I don't know. Regardless, I'm not too worked up about the Celtics being number 2. Maybe it should be a little bit closer, but I'm not too worked up about it. I do appreciate this team. And there's a comment on Celtics Reddit, which I feel like hits exactly the tone that I want to hit with how these Celtics are perceived and watched and appreciated within the city of Boston. I'll hit that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle that NFL action or NBA action or whatever action you want at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers, you bet $5, you can get $150 in bonus bets if you win. So make it a good one. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So if you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, you can get the live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just go to FanDuel.com right now and join today. Use the tools that they have available. They'll pop that offer right up in front of you to set your limit, set your budget so you can gamble responsibly. Only put in what you can afford to lose just in case you have a bad week. So join FanDuel. Get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA. 2 shows on the Locked On NBA feed. Locked On NBA Game Night, which is 7 nights a week. So every day you can download that and get caught up on the night in the association. And then during the week, you have Monday through Friday, a regular debate style podcast covering the big stories in the league. So Locked On NBA, get to that audio feed, get to that YouTube feed, wherever you found this podcast, it's there. Locked On NBA, which I do on Fridays, but not the next couple of weeks because the Celtics play on Thursday night, so I can't divert. I do not want to be distracted from the Boston Celtics, who are, if you haven't noticed, good. They're a very good team. And this brings me to a segment that I love to call They Said It on Reddit. Every once in a while, there's an interesting comment, post, or something there, and I like to bring it over into the podcast and give it full credit. So Red Gloves over here, I will read in part, said on Reddit, "Man, I appreciate this team so much. Seeing the Patriots clown show run by Kraft Mayo Wolf and the Red Sox clown show run by Henry Kennedy Breslow and the Bruins current clown show, I'm just glad this city has the Celtics. Feels so nice to watch this team, enjoy the game, even if it's a loss. Like there's no stress. It feels great." And then he goes on. But he says, I just at the end, I love this team so much. Thank you for being the only serious franchise in town. That right there, the only serious franchise in town. Thank you. That hits exactly what's been driving me a little nuts about the Celtics coverage in Boston. And as a whole, right? The Celtics are steady, right? The Celtics are, for lack of a better term, they're being called boring. Oh, they're just too good, right? There's no drama. There's no front office drama. There's no, the Celtics are for sale, but there's no ownership. There's no like the Minnesota Timberwolves ownership drama. There's no player drama. The guys like each other. If they ever have any sort of disagreement, it's kept behind closed doors. There's always something. Every team has something, but they keep it behind closed doors. There's nothing that gets out. Any kind of incident, any kind of yelling, any kind of argument, it's kept under wraps. The Celtics are air freaking tight. No rumors, no nothing. So all they do is come out, play good basketball, generally speaking, win games most of the time, like 80% of the time, and go about their business. Jayson Tatum is not flashy. Jaylen Brown is a little bit flashy, but he's not bombastic, right? He's not Anthony Edwards. Derek White, Drew Holiday, all of these guys, they're not, they have good personalities and they're great people, but they're not over-the-top personalities. And in today's world, people love over-the-top personalities. They love Anthony Edwards because, yeah, he's good at basketball, but he talks trash and he has this brashness to him, and people love it. They gravitate toward it. But as Red Gloves over here said on Reddit, Patriots clown show. They hired Mayo. I'm reading today, like they're reinvestigating his last year as a coach under Belichick. Like, you didn't do that before you hired the guy? Are you kidding me? The Red Sox, forget it. I've been off the Red Sox as a serious fan since, like, once Mookie Betts was gone. I'm like, these guys are just trash. They whatever. I mean, I go because Boston and I like Boston, but it's fun to go to a Red Sox game and all of that stuff. But I'm not invested in the team. They are a clown show. Bruins, I feel like they're the closest thing to the Celtics as far as serious, but they're not that great, or haven't been. They've been up and down. The Celtics, though, why isn't the only serious team in Boston more appreciated within the city? Maybe people from the outside. I know I am preaching to the choir. I know I'm preaching to the choir because you are a diehard. You're listening to the Locked On Celtics podcast and probably 2 or 3 other podcasts and reading all the Celtics content because you love the Celtics and you get it. Why don't they get it? Why don't people outside of the sphere of Boston sport, outside of basketball, why don't they look at this team and go, man, let's just all be appreciative of how great this team is? No. What do you look at the sports, maybe the TV news, and it's all Patriots, it's all Red Sox, it's all other things. It's the Celtics, like, yep, they won again. Yep. All right. Should come find me when they're in the playoffs. Like, that's why aren't people there enjoying the process, seeing, because you're missing things. You're missing Peyton Pritchard being good. You're missing Derek White doing what he does. You're missing those little moments. You missed the little Drew Peterson thing. You missed all of that stuff. You missed all of these little nuancy things that happen during the course of a season because you're like, oh, I'm sorry you don't like watching your team win games. It drives me nuts. So thank you to Red Gloves over here on Reddit for laying this out so well. The only serious franchise in town, 3 clown shows in town in the other major sports, and the Celtics just are a freaking machine, just steamrolling their way through the league. Anyway, I know you appreciate it. I know you do. But I hope you share in some of the frustration because people are missing out. I mean, when the Celtics win a championship, I'll write another book where we celebrate Banner 19 and maybe people can get caught up then, but you're missing out on some really great storylines. You should not be missing out on podcasts because I got 5 of them a week, at least, more when they play on Friday and Saturday nights. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. If you're new to the show, welcome aboard. Thank you so much. I hope you subscribe either on the audio feed, which is everywhere, or on YouTube, the Locked On Celtics YouTube page. You can watch me yell and scream and gesticulate and all that for, when I make my takes and rant, old man yells at cloud. But get into the comment section, most importantly, because there's a lot of great Celtics fans in there and you should be interacting with them. These are all people who are appreciative of the Boston Celtics. I know you are appreciative of the Boston Celtics. So thank you for commenting. And now do me one more favor. Share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.